Good morning. It's Thursday, November 7th, and then there were three. These two, gone. Just saying.
You whacked them?
Yeah, we got a lot going on today, so we're going to be playing musical chairs for a while. Got a lot of veterans ceremonies that are occurring throughout the county at many of our schools. Commissioner Weaver is representing us at an ag breakfast this morning. I've got to be in Annapolis by about 11:30, so there's a lot going on. So you'll be seeing us.
Commissioner Rothstein's at a Veterans Day.
Yeah, Commissioner Rothstein is at Century, I believe, this morning, and I believe he was the guest speaker. I don't know why they did that, but whatever. They very
No
sweet.
relation to the military.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, you'll see some of us coming and going, and that's the way that we roll today. So we're going to first stand for the pledge. Obviously, it means a lot more this weekend because of the fact that we are honoring our veterans, and they're the true reason to why we can stand for the pledge. Let's be clear. And then we're going to move into a moment of silence. We invite you to join us with that. Please keep all of those veterans in your thoughts, all of those that are still serving here and abroad, and all of our folks in public safety. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Priority Carol. What do you got, Commissioner Boucher?
Well, those of you who know me know how much I love history. So when I was asked to attend the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area meeting this Monday night at the Arts Council, I was honored to attend. I didn't know exactly what I was getting into, but I found out that that is the organization that puts together the Civil War trails and the plaques, of which we have several here in Westminster. It is a nonprofit coalition between Carroll, Frederick, and Washington counties. And their organization attracts a lot of tourism to our region. During the Civil War, there was 3 invasions of Maryland in 1862, 63, and 64. And this organization records and maps out that history for visitors to come and patronize our counties and bring a lot of revenue into our counties. They have given out just under $500,000 in grants to those 3 counties. We have benefited in Carroll County at the Farm Museum, the Historical Society of Carroll County, the Town of Sykesville Gatehouse Museum, and the Union Mills Homestead. Those grants have helped generate $19 million in state and local revenue for the region, which is tremendous. It's amazing how many people love history. We had predicted potentially historical interest would drop, but the data is showing that it's actually increasing. Younger generations are attending these historical sites and are spending money, which we love. So I'm very grateful to this organization and the benefit they bring to our county. Keep up the good work.
Very good. That's a good group.
Was there a tour involved?
No. Oh, I did. Wait, I will add that.
You had to do it, didn't you? Seriously?
I toured South Carroll High School this week, and they have an absolutely wonderful program there. I was given a tour of their science department. They have large tanks of water set up growing tilapia. Is that a tilapia fish? And they're recycling the waste product of the fish into a gravel bed where they're growing peppers. So it's a real neat process. I didn't think about it, but maybe, I don't know whether they don't feed the peppers to the tilapia or they don't grill the tilapia with the peppers. Well, it was really exciting, so I appreciate the time at the school. They have a lot of pride there.
Did you visit the wrestling room?
I didn't go to the wrestling room. That's your tour.
Just wondering. Okay. We all actually attended the volunteer awards for Park and Recreation Department earlier this week. The Parks and Recreation Department could not do what they do, could not run all those programs without all the volunteers that they have. They have hundreds of volunteers. They do tremendous job. I mentioned that I was at a pickleball tournament last weekend. If it wasn't for the volunteers, they could not have had that pickleball tournament, just wouldn't have run. hats off to volunteers who do a tremendous job. On a kind of a different note, just something kind of came home to me Tuesday, I think it was, or yes, whatever day it was, earlier this week. Young lady down the street from me overdosed and passed away. I knew her just Halloween. Her and her son are trick or treating, going around the neighborhood and so forth, and just a reminder of the terrible hold drugs have on people, and what happens to them. She seemed to be doing fine, everything was going well, and then she's gone. It's like it's just bringing up because it happens all over the place. Everyone is affected by it. It's just a sad situation, especially the fact that I just saw her a couple of days ago. We talked. I know her son pretty well, and it's just how that affects everyone around her. It's just very, very sad, and that's why we have a commitment in Carroll County to fight this, is do everything we can possibly do. I wish there was a way that we could say, okay, this is what needs to be done, and we're going to do it, but we don't know. I think we're doing the best we can, but it's still out there. It's still grabbing people and pulling them back in. It's very, very sad.
Sorry to hear that, and certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to that family. I'll reiterate the great job that the rec folks did. Jeff Dagetts and his team that are in his shop do a great job over there. And the bottom line is we recognized, at least 15, 16, 17 people. Well, when you put the Carroll County Cloggers in there, you're like up over 30. So, because they were all there.
They clogged up the place.
Yeah, they clogged up the stage. Boom. I want to just give a shout out to all the volunteers in the county. I mentioned the other night at that event that it's kind of one of the reasons that we roll so well here in Carroll is the folks that step up to volunteer. So, and I know that very well. And don't. You came right in with a joke the other night, which was pretty good.
Oh, he was on fire.
Yeah, he was on fire. I don't know what happened. You must have eaten your Wheaties for dinner or something. But I mentioned the fact of how many years I've got volunteering in the county. I'm not going to mention it today because we don't need to hear that again. But congratulations to those. Just a reminder to everyone, 3-day weekend this weekend for the Carroll County Office Building. In honor of Veterans Day, we will be closed on Monday. I also attended I try to attend my town's and my district's council meetings on a regular basis. I hadn't been to Tawnytown in a while because of my schedule, which is a wreck. But I did attend this week, and on the Parks and Rec front, they made some incredible decisions up there where they're redoing a lot of the Memorial Park. They're working on Bollinger Park. They mentioned the parkland that we just purchased outside of Tawnytown. And I want to congratulate Tawnytown on the amazing things that they are doing. It's amazing when you don't have to focus on crazy, what you can get done when everybody works together. And I'm just going to leave it at that. There's my politically incorrect part of today. So I would just like to say, again, please keep... If you get a chance, we've got a lot of folks walking around. I saw one this morning. Well, I saw a lot this morning. But at before I got to the school that I was at this morning, I saw a gentleman who had his hat on. Walk up to them and say thank you. Man got tears in his eyes. So it's very important this weekend to do that. And all the time. All right. Anything else for Priority, Carroll?
I will add that Tawnytown was part of the Gettysburg campaign, and that town brings in Civil War tourists as well.
Yeah, and I think George Washington slept there.
There you
Okay. George Washington slept in a lot.
He's not.
Okay, so we're off track now. We probably ought to get back on track.
Yes.
Okay. First item on the agenda today is bid approval for Central Maryland Facility 2 Stormwater Management Retrofit. And everybody's coming up. Everybody in the whole audience is. If you're not part of this, come up anyway. No. So Mike's going to lead the show, but
Yeah, that's
certainly
gonna be a tough act to follow.
Yeah, well, I don't. So Gail's here, our
Gotta put the
bureau chief.
comedians
and
last.
so take it away, Mike.
Great. Yep, we're here today to request your approval to award a contract for the stormwater management
retrofit of the Central Maryland 2 stormwater facility. Went out to bid, we received 13 bids, which was quite good, and Stan Balls was the lowest bidder in the amount of $493,710.
That is a lot of bids. Good grief.
And the range is unbelievable.
They like
Yeah.
working with us.
Yeah.
The word is out.
The word is out. I think the word's been out, to tell you the truth. So brief description here, Gail, or whoever, on what we got going on here. Either one of you. Yeah.
So this is an existing stormwater facility that was built in 1982 to service the industrial park down off of Clees Mill Road. We are partnering with the Central Maryland Service and Distribution Center on this retrofit. It is a privately owned facility. We worked with them, 2 years ago on an adjacent facility, and we're able to get 32.25 acres of impervious treatment because this facility does not meet current standards.
Questions? I will say that at the council meeting in Tawnytown the other night too, they were very appreciative of the collaboration that occurs between our municipalities and our county, and said a lot of great things about all of our folks here, because they're working on 2 projects now. I know Gail Roberts Mill, and there's another one coming on the horizon. Yep. So they were appreciative, and it goes to the things that you guys are accomplishing, and we truly do appreciate that. So, any questions on this one on Clees Mill?
Well, since Stan Ball's in my district, I'd like to make the motion to our colleagues. I move that the Board of Commissioners award the contract for the Central Maryland 2 stormwater facility retrofit to Stan Balls Inc. in the amount of $493,710.
Second.
Okay, what's the timeline on this one?
We hope
Already
we
then,
hope to
starting
have
tomorrow.
them on board later this month, out there working.
Okay.
Good.
So if we turn it down today, tomorrow's out. Is that what you're saying, Gail?
We'll be very stressed. We have a deadline here of December 31st when the permit expires. We
Ooh.
want to have as much going on as we possibly can to get that number where it needs to be.
Okay.
So this is a real important project to make it happen, so
Yeah. Good. Okay.
please don't turn it down.
Since I've got a motion in a
Right,
second.
Right, there's only 3 people here.
Yeah.
Chances
I
are.
mean, the odds are pretty good, okay? All right, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next on our agenda is Hampstead Annexation Number 42 Beck property, and I believe we have public comment before we get into that. So, ladies, sit down. No, just kidding. Good morning.
Good morning.
Miss Stacy.
Sorry. Stacy Schaefer, Schaefer and Schaefer LLP, on behalf of Tracy Beck, who is the applicant of the annexation petition in Hampstead. I'm just here to answer any questions, should you have any. The staff report is very comprehensive and supportive of the project, so I'll leave it at that.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, now, that's it, right? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mary Lane, our planning manager, and one of our comprehensive planners, Claire Stewart. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning. We're here for a discussion of the Hampstead Annexation Number 42, the Beck property, and I'm going to turn it over to Claire to give you the details.
Right. So yes, this is Hampstead's 42nd annexation. We received a petition from the town on October 4th, and this is the plat that was submitted with the petition. The requested annexation is 4 lots, all owned by Tracy Beck, and a deed of consolidation dated July of 2019 was submitted with the petition. So these 4 lots are actually 1 lot now, but the annexation petition and the resolution that were submitted all show that it's still 4 lots. So just for consistency, I'm going to reference it as 4 lots. Just keep in mind that it is now 1. And so these 4 lots total 0.5 acres. And then this portion of Singer Street just to the south, that's 0.03 acres.
So all four of those together are only .5.
Correct. All four of them, yes.
Right.
0.5.
Interesting, okay.
Yep. So the annexation area is outlined in blue on both maps. We're right off of Singer Street. There's Hauksville Road and then the Hampstead bypass just to the south. The corporate limits is outlined, that's the red line. As you can see, the annexation area is contiguous on three sides to the corporate limits. And then we are inside the municipal growth area, which is the gold and black line.
Good timing, Commissioner Weaver. We're talking about Hampstead.
To the northwest, we have Shiloh Middle School. And then, which is not on this map, but just to a little bit to the east and north, is the Solo Cup Warehouse. The zoning for the annexation areas are 10,000. All adjoining properties, whether in the county or town, are zoned R10,000 as well. And of course, the town wants to bring this property in as R10,000. So we are, there's no zoning waiver being requested with this annexation. And then our land use is R10,000 in the 2010 Hampstead comp plan. As always, we ask the following agencies for comments. We received a comment from the Bureau of Engineering. This is a zoomed in portion of the plat that was submitted. So engineering's comment was that the dedicated right-of-way on this plat for the annexation area, which is this dark black line, matched the town of Hampstead's dedicated right-of-way for Singer Street, which is this lighter gray dashed line. So engineering is asking that the right-of-way just be one continuous line throughout. Any questions on that? And then we received a comment from BMC just stating that there will be no impact on the Hampstead bypass since we're right in that general area. So we did brief the Planning Commission on October 30th, and they voted to send this request with a favorable recommendation and 3 comments. Comment 1 is that the town annex and take over ownership and maintenance of that portion of Singer Street that's located just south of the 4 lots. And I call this out specifically because the petition does ask for annexation of this portion of Singer Street, but the town resolution does not. So there's a little conflict there.
So are they gonna take over the maintenance of it?
I did speak to someone from the town, and they would be willing to amend their town resolution if the county commissioners and the town council felt strongly about that. So it's something that can be amended. The town's here if they have anything to add to that. The second comment relates to what engineering had to comment, that the dedicated right-of-way just match up with what's existing in the town. And then the third comment is that the town notify all adjoining property owners before the public hearing. So those are the 3 comments. There's no action today. We'll be back on November 21st. Were there any questions?
What's the intent here for this property?
The intent
I believe it's for
Is that
a
what that is?
home.
is for what?
A home.
A home.
So, a residential, right. So remember, it's 1 lot now.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's only point whatever.
A half
I don't know
acre,
how
yeah.
many. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever square feet that rolls with, it's not a whole lot. So, you familiar?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the area and where it is. I just heard about, well, the other day, recently, that they wanted to annex it in. Yeah, it's a small area there. I know some residents are, as usual, upset on that, but that's, I think with your recommendations there, should go through if the town will take it. Maintenance and the road widening.
What's beside it there, Claire? Did I miss, maybe you said that, and I wasn't paying attention.
I believe this is a new residential house.
Okay, how about on the other side? What's over there?
That's residential as well.
Okay.
And those are, this is, I guess it was a subdivision from a long time ago, and so the lots ended up very small. So these lots are actually one as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what you could have put on there.
We weren't even born when these were put in.
Did you say we?
It's hard to believe.
It's chiseled in stone.
Okay.
I just have how long ago was this proposed and went through the planning, zoning, and all that kind of stuff? You know how about?
We received the petition, the county received the petition on October 4th, and then it went to planning commission last Wednesday, October 30th.
Did it go through the planning, zoning commission first? Is that the way it works or not?
No,
Yeah.
it's introduced to the town mayor and town council, and then they set a public hearing date,
Okay.
and then it gets sent to us.
All right. So they did all that in a couple months, I would guess.
Correct, yes, and then they'll hold a public hearing in
Right.
early December.
Right. Before it finally gets done.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
I was just wondering because of the North Carroll thing and how long that's taken. So I just had to throw that out there. But okay.
Okay.
Totally residential, schools right there, it's,
I don't have any problem with
Okay.
it. It's all good.
All right, any other questions on this?
Nope.
You good, Commissioner Weaver?
I'm good.
Okay.
All right,
All
so we
right.
will be back November 21st.
All right.
Okay,
Sounds
thank you very
good.
much. What do you got for Priority Carroll? Anything, Dick, since you came in late, anything for Priority Carroll you want to bring up while we're in?
I did, but it's off my mind right now.
Okay. I know you were representing us at the business breakfast this
Yeah,
morning.
I
So,
just ran over a little bit, and they were
Did you eat a sausage for me?
talking, just this morning was hemp production at Catoctin Mountain Growers and their issue of growing the oil for CBD oil or whatever,
Right.
and the issues they're having with it, and it was interesting to hear what all the issues they're going through. And,
So is it a viable ag product for the developing field ag?
it's a product they are growing, they're cloning or taking cuttings basically on the plants. So the TSC level is low and they clone them rather than try to grow from seed, which is too many variables. But the biggest issue is the market. Where do you sell it? And getting rid of the oil and to be processed into the products they use in the stores or whatever here. So it could be viable. I think it will have some medical uses. It's a emerging market and it needs to be developed. Is what it amounts to, and they're working on it. And I was hearing all the problems they're having with it. And as he said, it could be a lot of money, but they haven't made a penny yet. So.
So potentially this is something that could contribute to our county's
Oh, yeah, it
agricultural
could
business.
potentially contribute to Carroll County and what we're doing. So,
Good.
do they have to be licensed to do that?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
it has to be licensed.
So they've been through all that.
Once you get through all that, and then the growing, the cloning, the growing,
Okay.
processing, and then they have to extract the oil, or somebody does.
Right.
Now, where do you sell to extract the oil? And, you have several million pounds of this, and you can extract 400 pounds a day, or whatever it is.
Wow.
It takes a while, so.
They could put it in the
Interesting.
whiskey with the rye.
I tell you, it's a learning curve. These
Yeah,
guys are
we're all
really
learning.
putting a lot of money into research and development, and they're partnered with the University of Maryland with the research and development of this. So it can be viable. It may be one of those things. It's only viable for X amount of people. And,
Right.
so it was interesting to hear where the growing pains people are going through at the present time. That's a problem.
I got it.
Thanks for attending and updating us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Good deal. All right, we covered the Veterans Day ceremonies and stuff. I know you're going to be attending quite a few of those as well. So,
Saturday night, I think we'll be at Manchester
Val.
Val, and
Yeah.
then I think Monday morning's Gerstel.
Yeah.
I know they'll be there, and
Tuesday we have a luncheon at the Legion.
then Tuesday, we have North Carroll Senior Center, and then the
Right.
luncheon at the Post 31 here in Westminster,
Right.
and, yeah, it's gonna be quite a few events.
Yeah.
I have Mount Airy Senior Center today at lunch as well.
Good deal.
Veterans Day is grown, and you know, I know you might be aware of it. One time, you know, you had a uniform on, and people would almost spit on you. At one time at the Vietnam era. Today, it's changed, and glad to see that. A lot of guys lost their lives, body parts and things, defending what we, you know, our country got into, and I give them a lot of credit. But it's, I'm glad at least they're recognizing the value they put into it, and they should.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. Third item on our agenda this morning is the quarterly update on our budget, which brings Ted down to the front and his bureau chief, Deb Effingham.
The infamous
Folks, good morning.
Good morning.
Lots of extra money, everything is well, millions that you don't know what we're gonna do with, and thanks for your report. All right, y'all have a nice day.
I like that summary.
That was almost what I was going to say. So just give you a little heads up on what's happening. This will be, as far as our financials go, through the last day of September. Although, of course, since then, we already know things we didn't know then. But on revenue, property tax, our biggest revenue, would appear to be just a hair over what we expected. Income tax right now, if the rest of the year were to play out as planned, we'd end up about $1.5 million above what we budgeted. But all we've gotten so far are some small distributions, so this remains a big question mark.
What is a hair for real estate?
$400,000 on about 250 million, 200 million.
Okay.
That is a hair, yeah.
I was just curious. I mean,
And Ted, on the income tax portion of your report, there seems to be a topic that's getting a good deal of traction now across the state, including Annapolis, and I'm set to hear a little bit about that later today. But because of the federal tax income changes that occurred, one would think that there would be some extra money sitting somewhere. And folks don't seem to know where that extra money is. And I think we are deserving of that money if it's coming, or should be coming back to our county. So, thoughts on that, or where, it just seems to be a big topic right now, especially with the Kerwin.
Yeah, it is kind of puzzling why we have not seen the anticipated windfall, as people have referred to it. I'm not aware of any action on the part of the state that would be keeping money that should be coming to us out of our hands. And it could be that we get our first big distribution in just a couple weeks. You know, maybe we are going to start seeing some increases from the tax change. This has all been very complicated. You know, taxpayer behavior made things very difficult to understand what was happening. Of course, we don't have a lot of visibility into what's driving the money that we're getting. And we have seen over the last 2 years some significant places where we thought we were going to see money and didn't. Then late last year, we saw a bunch of money coming in that we weren't really expecting. I'm thinking that this money and that money were the same. It was just became a timing issue. Mm-hmm. But you know, all I can say is, you know, we'll be continuing to watch as this comes in. You know, we talk frequently with other counties and with the state about what's going on, and we're still trying to figure it out.
Okay.
put in our holiday wish list.
Well, yeah, I just think it's, and you're right, it's complicated, and I'm not sure why it is, because we were almost sold a bill of goods when we were told that, you know, the federal tax reforms we would realize some significant increases on our level as a result of those, and we haven't.
Well, I'm not sure anybody sold us on anything, you know, as we were looking at the federal changes, you know, we were saying, okay, there would seem to be certain implications to the state
Okay.
and locals. And, you know, could be we got it wrong. You know, there's a pretty common feeling that this is gonna lead to increased revenue because of how it changed, standard deductions and, people itemizing their deductions, if nothing else.
Right.
I remember the state did take some action to reduce the extra that they thought they were gonna get. Now, there were people at the time who said they didn't go far enough, but, you know, they did do something, so that had some impact on us as well. But, you know, the whole income tax situation, you know, not just there, but, you know, it's been really hard to figure out what's going on. Because, you know, we're been in this long economic expansion. You know, in many ways, we talk about the economy being really good, but we haven't seen wage growth that would seem to match up with all the other things we're talking about. And if we're going to get income tax, growth in our income tax, you know, it's going to be because there are more jobs or people are getting paid more in the jobs that they have. The part on people getting paid more doesn't seem to have really changed in recent years in any significant way. Not that it's not changing, but we haven't seen, you know, a boom in pay. And, you know, some of the things that were talked about at the federal level in connection with the tax changes is, you know, this is going to release investment in businesses. You know, we're going to be adding jobs, pay is going to be going up. I don't think we've really seen very much of that happen. And then there's others, and, you know, we could spend a long time talking about this, but there's other macro sort of things happening. You know, at first, this is just Carroll County I'm talking about now, but our population is not growing all that quickly. When we were adding, you know, 2 or 3% a year, those people are working. You know, there's some addition to our income tax that goes along with that. You know, we're seeing pretty modest growth these days. We also have an increasing percentage of our population in seniors, and not all, but many of those people are retired, which changes the picture. The guy who's in charge of the revenue estimating for the state comptroller's office, you know, his group did a study specifically looking at what is the impact of our aging population. Very, very interesting in this way that somebody like me might look at this information and say this is interesting, but also scary. You know, he was able to, you know, point out places where he's saying, you know, this is the impact, and he's looking at the state, but, you know, carries through to us. You know, here are the ways it's impacting, and he actually attempted to quantify, in a sense, how much lost revenue is there because you shifted people out of prime working years into retirement years. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into this, and, you know, as always, we never have anywhere near as much information as we would like. You know, we're always playing a bit of a guessing game. You know, you get this piece of information and this information and say, okay, well, it looks like that might mean this. But then the next distribution comes and you say, okay, well, I don't get it. I don't understand what happened now.
Ted, you brought up, excuse me.
But I was just going to say real quick about the seniors. I heard an interesting story this morning about a log jam that's occurring because the retirement age is increasing. So you got a lot of folks that are still working into their latter years, if you will, and it's creating a log jam for the millennials who are attempting to try to move forward and get jobs. So I only say that because you're right about the varying opinions, and there's no really set answer. Because if you listen to that story, one would say, well, and I've seen it as I've traveled around Carroll, there are a lot of elderly folks that are cashiers, that are working at various locations, people are working longer. So this thought that we've got a, plan to take care of these people, I'm not so sure that's entirely true.
County commissioners?
Well, I see it. So
Well,
that's interesting. Anyway.
They don't wanna stay home with their adult children that aren't working.
Well, yeah.
You know, that log jam, you might have just put an idea in my mind. In the budget office, they keep asking me if I'm thinking about retiring, maybe.
Is that the log jam? Yeah, well, sorry I brought
Maybe
that
we
up.
Move on.
Deb,
get out of the
pay,
way.
pay no attention to what I just said, okay?
Ted, I appreciate you bringing up awareness to that issue, that I think we as a board on the long term are going to have to develop some sort of strategy and review of. And that's if our population stays stagnant. We're forecasting over 58,000 60-plus residents in our county in 2030, and how that fiscally impacts us in our budget and our revenue sources. So we need to pay close attention to this, because it can create a financial crisis in the long term for us, and what type of strategy we as public officials can develop to avert that crisis. So stay on top of that for us and keep us updated.
Yep. So anyway, income tax will remain the big topic of thought and discussion as we move through the year. Recordation, right now, we're figuring we're gonna come in about $300,000 below budget. If you think back through our history, recordation was almost $23 million at one point. When we hit the recession, that dropped all the way down to $7 million. In recent years, we've started to see that grow again. We were following that growth up. It looks like maybe we've plateaued now, and our projections of continued growth, well, it wasn't crazy growth, look like maybe they're too high now, and we're plateauing off at 14 million or so. Our investment income, we were building projections based on a series of actions by the Fed. They've changed directions now. In this calendar year, we've seen 3 consecutive decreases in interest rates, 2 in this fiscal year. So we will be over budget. Our actuals will be under budget. We will have projected too high on investment income. And right now, we're thinking that might be $1.5 million or something along those lines. So as things stand, for all revenues, remembering that income tax is a huge question mark, we're projecting $800,000 over budget. On the expenditure side, and very early in the year, it's way too early to make any confident prediction of where we're going to end up. But as things stand, there are open positions where we didn't spend money and we don't expect to spend it, and we're having some savings on utilities and fuel relative to what we budgeted. Right now, we're projecting about $5.5 million that would be not spent at the end of the year. So the combination of the revenues and expenditures would be a little over $6 million that would be to the good. Now remember, $4 million of that, the 1% that we plan on for every year, is already earmarked for fiscal year 21. So that would leave, with everything I just said, about $2 million of something left at the end of the year.
So I was not too far off when I said lots of millions sitting around that we don't. Questions for Ted or Deb? I mean, again, what's your take on a better hold on that, or a better feel for what the information is? I mean, you stated that we're 3 weeks or so away from our next income tax revenue, and do you foresee having a real good idea by what, March the 1st-ish?
Well, on most of the revenues, I don't expect a lot to change from what we're seeing right now. On income tax, we get a distribution in November, which will give us about a quarter of what we're going to see. We don't get the next distribution until late in March.
Okay.
And even that is still just giving us then half of the picture.
Right.
And you all have seen enough now to know that you know, you have 2 or 3 distributions, and it can be tempting to draw a line through it, and then you get the next one, and that line is no longer relevant.
Yeah.
No wonder you've lost moisture here.
All right. Well, it's an early report, but right now it's a positive report.
Right.
So we certainly do.
Yeah, at least it's positive. At least
Yeah.
we're looking at a couple
Yeah.
million over rather than a couple million under.
Yes.
So that's a good thing.
Yep.
Keep it coming that way, Ted.
And I'm going to attempt to find that pot of gold in that quaint little town I'm going to here in about an hour, and bring some back.
Do that.
I'll wait for your report.
I'm sure you will. Okay.
If you do that, we'll have you elevated to something here. I don't know
Something?
what.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
St.
something. All
Lance,
right.
but,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions for Ted or Deb?
We'll try not to spend
Thank
that
you.
money before it gets here.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Thanks. All right. Marching on. We have quite a few issues where we're going to see Andy up here. And the first one is installation of residential water meter vaults.
We can save 25,000 here.
And we're gonna see Mike Byers too a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure who schedules all these concurrences right after the budget update.
We
So,
just like to think of Johnny Milton.
So see, you had a difficult time following the priority Carol. Now you
yeah,
got a
you
diff-
guys are
now
killing
you-
me today.
Okay. All right, what do you got, Mike?
Yep, so the first request is to award a contract to HTI Contractors in the amount of $25,000 to replace water meter vaults in the Eldersburg area. We've requested bids, we received 3 bids, and HTI was the lowest.
Some background information on this. Blacksmith Drive is located in the Carolinas Highlands area of the Frederick service area, and it serves 20 residential properties.
How many?
20. What we're transitioning to is the old process that we use as far as the meter vault work is we did them on a case-by-case basis. We're trying to transition to grouping these by street or by area to get better pricing, and the pricing has come in much lower. The individual costs were on the order of about $2,500 to $2,700 each. This bid has come in at about at approximately $1,250 each. It was bid. It's no guarantee it's going to stay that way for future projects, but we're very excited about the cost savings on this. So what the general scope of work is, we have indoor meters that are prone to not being very accurate or prone to leaking. So the whole mindset behind the outdoor water meter vault is to transition indoor meters to the outside, where any leaks are contained outside instead of inside. Overall, system-wise, we have approximately 11,000 meter users countywide. We have about 8,500 of the new style meters in place. We have about 2,500 meters left. So this is part of that process.
So this will potentially reduce maintenance costs?
What it will do, it'll keep us at, the old style meters that are inside the houses are aging. So as those styles age, they tend to slow down and not read flow as it should be read, to some minor degree. But system wide, it'll add up to a large saving or cost for us. So what's the other issue that we're having is a lot of these older meters are prone to indoor water leaks. And when that happens, risk management is contacted by the property owner, and we end up paying repair costs for those water leaks inside.
So this is all save the county money?
It will.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Yes,
All right, thank you.
absolutely.
Well, we have, about 12,000 meters in that area?
In the Freedom District, we have about just under 10,000.
10,000, okay. And how far are we through the replacement?
We have about 2,500 left.
Oh, left.
Yes,
So we're actually keeping up on
we
this
are,
very well.
very much so.
Thank you. I was expecting that to be the other way, but thank you.
Yeah, you've been here a couple times with these. What's
I have.
the life expectancy on these things?
The new meters have about 20-year life. And
Okay.
And there are no moving parts.
Yeah.
which is awesome. So as they age, as the meters themselves age, the measuring system should stay the
Good.
same as it is now, without any moving parts. The old meters historically have a tendency to slow down
Right.
as we do, as we age.
Yeah, we'd probably age better if we didn't have moving parts. Is that what you were thinking?
I was gonna say,
You were looking at me,
yeah,
Boucher,
we're
so-
old parts, so we'll get replaced.
That was my softball lob for
I
the
didn't see
morning.
that. Thank you, Commissioner Weaver. You have to read your, I didn't read it.
HTI has done this before for us.
And we are very satisfied with the work that they've performed on a variety of projects.
I make the motion, Board of Commissioners award a contract for the installation of water meter vaults on the 20 residential properties that front Blacksmith Drive in Eldersburg to HTI contractors, amount of $25,000.
Second.
All right, anything else on that? All in favor? Aye. That's unanimous. Now we're going to fire hydrants and valve bolts. You want to make any comment on fire hydrants or anything, Weaver, to me at this point, or you just want to let it go?
He's
It's
waiting for
probably
an
a pretty good
opportune
idea.
moment.
It's a good, what, I'm sorry, what?
It's probably a pretty good idea.
Okay. And you heard it first right here. Public safety. Weaver's all about public safety. All right, go ahead.
All right, our next request is to award a contract for the replacement of fire hydrants and valve bolts. Again, this is in the Freedom District Water area to HDI contractors in the amount of $113,728. What utilities originally did was break this down into three different areas, three different bids, put it out. Thought we could get more competitive pricing doing it that way. HDI was the low bidder in all three areas, so we're just going to combine these three into one contract.
Some background information on this. The project does consist of a total of 25 fire hydrants throughout the Freedom Service area. And as Mike just said, these were bid as three separate groupings to try and encourage interest and pricing. We are very happy with the overall average bid price for HTI at about $4,500 per unit. That's a very, very nice price. These locations are a combination of aging hydrants, but also several oddball types of models that we have throughout our system. We're trying to focus on two primary types of models, Kennedy's and Muellers. The reason for that is to keep our supply of spare parts to a minimum. So we have about 1,000 fire hydrants in our overall system. We are working towards the last 10% of these fire hydrants, or 100 or so that are left. These 25 will knock that number down to about 75 aging hydrants that are in need of future rehab work. And I will be coming to the board for future projects like this. The average lifespan of a fire hydrant is 45 to 50 years, and most of these date to the mid-1970s, so we're right on target with these.
So standardization, once again, on the long term, will save the county money with maintenance.
Absolutely.
What kind of hydrants were these again? Andy?
The new installs are all Kennedys.
Okay,
So
that's
the other model that we're keeping on hand are Muellers.
Okay. Yeah, it was a method to my madness. There was a time that there were different threads on hydrants that made it really difficult for the fire service. There were steamer connection threads, and then there were national standard threads. Hopefully we've got most of them switched over to NSTs now, because sometimes we pull up at dark 30 and try to hook up to a hydrant. Couldn't get it. So
That's a very important point.
yeah, but the Kennedys and the Muellers both are NSTs, so
Yes.
that works well.
Yes.
So okay.
With that, I'm gonna move that the Board of Commissioners award 3 contracts for replacement of fire hydrants and valve bolts to 25 locations throughout the Freedom District service area to HTI contractors in the overall amount of $113,728.
Second.
Hold your heart. I know.
You want to make an amendment to that motion?
No.
For any kind of sprinklers or anything,
No.
or you go with hydrants?
We're still not
No sprinklers.
Or you go with the hydrants? Okay.
We're not going that far. You're pushing it.
Are all the hydrants that were replacing Kennedy hydrants?
They are.
So all the 900 that we replaced are all Kennedys?
All the new ones that we have done are Kennedys. As
Right,
far as
but
I
you're
know.
saying
They're-
there's about 1,000, we replaced 90%, so it'd be about 900 and they're all Kennedys.
Early on in the process, way before I came on board, I'm not sure if they were all Kennedys,
Okay.
but the ones in recent years have been Kennedys.
All right, thank you.
You remember the days of pulling up to Hiram Stug and looking at it and going, oh, we can't hook to that. Okay. All right, any other questions?
Didn't you have an adapter you had to carry?
Well, we used to carry, yeah, we all had to buy adapters then, so, yeah.
Duct tape.
Duct tape, yeah. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Lining of a gravity sewer main.
Yeah, next, we'd like to request your approval to award a contract to Pleasance Construction, the amount of $61,147 for the lining of a gravity sewer main for the Shiloh pumping station.
So we're transitioning from the water supply issues to the wastewater collection systems. This will address, focus on some of the problems that the Bureau does face in the Hampstead area. The Shiloh pump station, which is located on the west side of Hampstead near Shiloh Middle School, is inundated with excess flows after rain events take place. The excess flow reaches and is ultimately processed by the Hampstead wastewater treatment plant as well. So these excess flows are commonly referred to as I&I problems. I'm sure you've heard that term before. The first I is inflow. Inflow is the surface water that enters into manhole structures in our sewer system. The other I stands for infiltration. The infiltration problems are what happens as pipe systems age. The joints open up, cracks occur, groundwater actually comes into the pipe system and has to be conveyed through the pump stations and the treatment plant. So what's happening with the Shiloh pump station? The upstream drainage area has been identified by previous studies as large areas of I&I problems. So the focus on this project is the first 1,300 foot segment immediately upstream from the Shiloh pump station. It's an 8-inch diameter clay gravity sewer main. It was installed in 1974. Believe it or not, back in those days, those pipe sections were manufactured in 3 or 6 foot long segments. So if you do the math and divide that over the 1,300 feet of pipeline, that's approximately 200 to 400 separate joints. So as ground settles over time, as tree roots start getting active, those joints start opening up more and more, and we get a lot of water coming into our system. So this scope of work is basically the lining of that sewer main from manhole structure to manhole structure over a total length of about 1,300 feet. It will be one continuous pipe segment from manhole to manhole, no joints, no leaking whatsoever. So it's a commonly accepted and used means of repairing sanitary lines. And there's one major issue that I'll probably come before the board in the months ahead. The area is quite large. We're starting at the lower part of the drainage area and working backwards. We are undoubtedly going to have other I&I issue pipelines as time proceeds. The other problem that we're going to most likely be faced with, these I&I issues have been occurring for quite a period of time with these pipe sections. And as we seal the pipes up, the groundwater is going to want to go somewhere else. So we're going to do these slowly but surely. We're likely to have water coming up in areas that that water has not been at in recent years, which may include people's basements and so forth. So we will keep a close eye on things, but there may be future problems occurring.
And that
Actions have reactions.
that pumping station's slated to be upgraded a couple of years.
We have a capital project on the books. I believe it's 2 or 3 fiscal years out.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do right now is to take care of the I&I issues to make sure that we fix the pump
And that
station
liner's
that
how
we-
thick?
It's approximately 1/2 inch thick or so. As it cures, it becomes a structurally sound pipe by itself. It's not dependent on the hose pipe. So once it cures and hardens, it's a structurally sound pipe.
Yeah, I mean, that pipe's 8 inches now, can barely handle it. We put a liner in it and
Well,
makes
there's
us,
the mindset behind that is the current pipe is very rough. It has the joints. The flow is not nice smooth flowing inside. The new pipe on the lining material is very smooth plastic. The flow is going to be much less restricted. It'll flow very easily.
Do you know how much I&I you have?
The rough numbers, For the upstream area for Shiloh, the norm nationwide is to assume about a 30% I&I problem coming into our sewer mains. Upstream of Shiloh, early numbers indicate about a 70%.
Oh, wow.
Now, volume-wise, I
Right, but
mains
that's,
balance-wise,
yeah, that's
puts
tremendous.
it all in perspective.
All right, any other questions on this one?
I move the Board of Commissioners award the lining for 1,300 linear feet of an 8-inch diameter gravity sewer main in the vicinity of Shiloh pumping stations to Pleasance Construction in the amount of $61,147.
Second.
All right, got a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. Item number 7, I'm gonna turn it over to Commissioner Weaver. And I'm gonna exit stage, well, it depends on which way you're sitting. Right,
Please bring that pot of gold back.
I will.
Okay.
Need help carrying it, give me a call.
Spray lining of sewer system manhole structures.
Great. Next, we'd like to request your approval to award another contract to Pleasance Construction in the amount of $51,425 for the spray lining of sewer system manhole structures. Again, this is related to the Shiloh pumping station.
This is the same sewer line. What this work involves is the rehab work for the actual manhole structures themselves. Manholes can't be lined with a pipe liner per se. This process is the spraying of an epoxy resin that hardens and becomes watertight and without any joints whatsoever as far as the final product goes. Manhole structures are kind of interesting. They're very weak points in our system. They're everywhere where we have a joint, either a pipe joint, a cement joint, a brick or block joint, water tends to come in as the manholes age. So the spray lining will make the inside of those manholes one solid, seamless piece, and we'll keep the inflow that we're experiencing now out of our system.
The same company doing both linings?
Yes,
Yeah.
the pipes will be lined first,
Right.
and once that's done, the spray coating will be installed.
Do we get a discount price because we're using the same company?
I'd say it's always cheaper if they're already there. So.
Right, yeah, that's true.
This is all within budget, yeah.
It is.
Make a motion, the Board of Commissioners award a contract for the epoxy spray lining of 120 vertical feet on 16 individual sewer manhole structures that are part of the 8-inch diameter gravity sewer main in the vicinity of the Shiloh pumping station to Pleasant Construction Incorporated, amount of $51,425.
Second.
All right, motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay, let's move on to point repair to the Gaming Square sewer main.
Yeah, now we'd like to request your approval to award a contract to Mid-Atlantic Utilities in the amount of $37,305 for the point repair to the Gaming Square sewer main, which is located in Hampstead.
And this name probably sounds very familiar to the board, and hopefully this will be the last time that I come before you for the approval of a project. About a month ago or so, the board approved the lining project for the problematic section of Gaming Square sewer main that we've been dealing with over the past year or so. During the pre-install video inspection by that vendor for the pipe lining, a 5 to 6 foot long failed segment of pipe was identified. The problem that we're having is the pipe lining product itself, until it is cured and hardened, it can't bridge that 5 to 6 foot long space. Groundwater's coming in, the soft felt liner can't keep that water out. So what will happen prior to the pipe being cured, the pipe will push in and kind of buckle in a little bit. So the only way to really go ahead with the pipe lining is to surface repair the broken section. So we actually have to dig down to the 12-foot depth of the sewer main, do a point repair at the pipe itself, and then come back in once that work is done and do the actual lining work. So what's complicating things is the 12-foot depth of the sewer main, as well as the secondary pipe, the secondary main that the board approved about a year ago is about 5 to 6 feet of the primary main. So so the contractor has to work with those two major issues. That's why the price for this is a little bit higher than it typically would be for a relatively small point repair.
So we sent the camera through the main and found out this is the only spot that we need to do this to?
Well, the overall main itself is in pretty poor condition, but the.
Yeah, but for this particular
yes,
fix.
that prohibits actual lining.
Right, yeah, I got it, right. But this is the only spot where we have to actually go down and fix it. We know that because we sent the camera through it and look at it, right? Yes. Just making sure.
This site's had a lot of issues.
It has. The lesson learned, and we've spoken about this in my office, is as new plans come through, we can never let PVC pipe be used for lateral connections at that 12 to 15 foot depth. That was the big issue that we had out there.
Seems pretty obvious, but.
Yes.
I make a motion, the Board of Commissioners award a contract for the point repair of a failed section of the Gaming Square sewer main in Hampstead to Mid-Atlantic Utilities in the amount of $37,305.
You second.
Second it? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The district's getting a little love today, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's move on to, request approval for a change order. And who do we have? Deb Butler and Doug Brown.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good.
How's everyone?
Great day so far. Just got better when you two sat down.
What's that?
It just got better when you two sat down.
All right, I love
You were
it.
getting a little tired of hearing about sewer?
We were drugged down to the sewer, now we want to come up a little bit.
We're here today to request approval of a change order for contract 18R2. We are complete with all of the work, and as we were preparing the final numbers, we found one discrepancy in a prior change order that the board had approved in the amount of $13,500, and it was purely a transposition of numbers. Nobody caught it along the way, you know, I'll take that responsibility. But once we get, if the change order is approved, we will be able to adjust the purchase order and close out that project. And the account is $8719. There is a balance of about $319,000 in that account. So no additional, I mean, we need to put additional funds on the purchase order, but the account is able to absorb this.
At least there wasn't an additional zero in that overlook.
No.
Yeah, that's very important. Wow.
I make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approve the change order request in an amount of $13,500.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Wonderful. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Have a great day.
That's the last mistake. That's the first mistake you ever made.
But I'll admit to.
Okay, let's see what we're moving on to. Briefing, discussion, possible decision on Laserfish annual support renewal. Mark Ripper. And Tina Rucker, Byron.
Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Mr. Ripa. Always good to have you in front of us. You keep us safe.
Thank you, sir.
When you hear nightmares in other jurisdictions and municipalities, I feel very comfortable having you at the helm doing what you do.
Thank you.
We're here to request your approval to award the contract for Laserfish annual support services to MCCI in the amount of $42,615. This amount is within the adopted budget and no additional funds will be necessary.
Commissioners, what this system is it's for people to take any type of documentation and store it into the system electronically as a backup, and that way everything is taken care of, it's stored safely, and we've been using this particular system now for many years, and this is just a renewal of the maintenance contract. Any questions?
Is this the only company we can go because it's a renewal of maintenance contract?
For the renewal of this particular contract, it was my understanding that this company is on one of those national things where it has been awarded, bidded
Right.
that Mike's talked about before. So, there are other companies out there, but they were the low bid with the national.
Okay, so this was bid out there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this is the same company that we have been using, since we got the product. They've changed names a couple of times, but it's basically the same organization.
For public consumption, could you read off the list of the departments that benefit from this?
Sure, the ones that are currently using the system right now are the Circuit Court, the Comptroller's Office, Sheriff's Services, Human Resources, the Commissioner's Office, Citizen Services, Management and Budget, Comprehensive Planning, Land Resource, Public Works, and Recreation and Parks.
So this is very vital to us. With that said, I move that the Board of County Commissioners award the contract for Laserfish Annual Support Services to MCCI located in Tallahassee, Florida, in the amount of $42,615.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much,
That
Commissioners.
was painless.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we can move on, a little bit of briefing, discussion decision on funding of the Korean War Wall of Remembrance.
So I thought Commissioner Rossi may be here for this. We received a letter back in August from County Executive Barry Glassman. It's an effort that they are making. I'm not 100% sure who they is.
I was just gonna ask you that.
For a Korean War
Right.
memorial. And what they've done is they've taken each of the, you see on the second page.
Mhm.
Do you know more about this?
Are you here for public comment?
Yes, I am.
You got turned in a little card.
I thought,
Thought we were rid of
Commissioner
him.
Rothstein would be here. Let me give you a quick background on
Okay,
this.
go ahead.
State your name and
Hi,
come up
I'm-
to the podium, please.
I'm Steve Wentz.
Which one?
The good-looking one, right?
So, as you know, Barry Glassman is the president of MACO this year. And usually if the president of MACO has some sort of initiative that they want to try to do. So his initiative was to create something that hasn't been done yet, and that is the Korean War Veterans Memorial. And I'm not sure where they're going to put the memorial. I didn't
That's
get
what I
that.
didn't know either.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
the
not
question,
sure.
too.
But what they did was they broke down what the funding goals would be based on the amount of Korean War veterans that each jurisdiction has. And for us, it would be a $4,100 investment into this project. And quite a few jurisdictions have already committed to this. I think we're going to get an update on that today when I get down the road. But we're one of the last ones to sort of do this. So Commissioner Rothstein attempted to do some funding, had some funding ideas. He was going to go to some of the VFWs. He was going to go to some of the American Legions. But in the end, he and I talked, and I said, you know what, Ed? Why not just take it out of reserve for contingencies or out of our whatever and make this work? And I think it's a valuable project moving forward. Again, I don't have the details, Dick, but we can get those.
I've had some calls on this also by some of the local VFWs and whatever, and they're very supportive. The whole Veterans Council will be very supportive of this. Just how we're going to fund it, and for $4,100, I think you might. I mean, they'll raise the funds if we need to, but I think we can probably go ahead and.
Yeah, because it's time sensitive.
Yeah.
If they would come back to us and say, look, we'll give you something towards it, we could put it back in the coffers, I would think. But because I think we need to move with this, I suggested, and Ed agreed, that we just take it out of reserves and just do it, and then.
An item that hasn't been budgeted, gee.
What happens if the other people involved, the other counties in the city of Baltimore, don't come up with the money, they don't have enough money to do the wall? Does that money come back to us, or they hold it and make a smaller wall? What will
That's a
happen?
great question, Dennis, and I can try to figure that out, or get the answer to that today, if you'd like.
I think this will be done no matter.
Yeah,
what.
I think
No
they're
matter
going to
how we do it,
find.
It's going to happen.
I think they're going to find the money. I really
Yeah.
do.
I'm just looking at a couple of them that
Oh, I
there's a
know.
large amount, and I'm thinking,
I know.
geez, that's a lot.
Yeah. Knowing County Executive Glassman as I do, I'm pretty sure he'll find the money somewhere.
This money is going to be found statewide somewhere
Yeah.
to come into
I
it.
think so,
I
too.
agree with that. And
So that's where we are. I can get more details, but because it's a little bit time sensitive, we needed to present it today, and then we can roll with it.
I would like to move that we fund our portion of the Korean Wall, Korean
Just for-
War memorial with the amount of 4,100.
4,100.
Too many zeros at this point. I think the county needs to step up and help that. I know this is against my normal grain here. It hasn't gone into the budget, but sometimes things pop up that I think are very important, especially with Memorial Veterans Day coming up and things.
I was just wondering, because this is the first time we've heard of this in open session. I mean, I'm all for it, but
Right.
just because it's the first time, should we vote on it next week? I mean, I don't
Yeah,
see,
I
I
don't-
don't think it's a problem with this going
No, I
through,
don't
just the
think-
way we normally do things.
I don't think a week's gonna matter.
Right.
I don't.
No, but
So if, I'll get more details today, and then I'll have specific for you guys
Right.
next week.
I would
Is
feel
that
better.
okay, Dick?
Yes,
You
I
okay
like
with that,
that.
Dennis?
I withdraw the motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I
at
mean,
least
like
you
I said,
got
I
it
don't
on-
think there's a problem. It's $4,100. Not that it's just,
Right.
we still look
Let
at,
me-
at
let
all
me-
the money, but we usually introduce and then vote
Right.
the following week.
Okay.
Unless it's emergency kind of thing.
All right, so we've planted the seed. I'll get the
Right.
details, and then we'll roll next week, if that's okay with you guys.
Sounds good.
You know, you guys do a pretty good job. I just wanted to say that. So I'd like to thank you
Yeah, we
very
have
much
good
for your
leadership.
cooperation.
Thank you, thank you. Don't you have somewhere to be?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
I did notice on this chart with the counties, the amount of Western Maryland counties, the participation they had in the Korean War is staggering. That is incredible, the sacrifice that those counties
A
made.
lot of those were reserve units pulled in to do it.
Yeah, they're sort of a forgotten bunch. Would you
Yeah.
say, Dick, out of veterans?
Well, it's coming down to, you know, we don't have too many World War II veterans left. Most of those guys are in the,
These-
hitting 100.
I just want to clarify, it's the number killed in action from each
Right.
county.
Yeah.
Whoa, not the
Yeah.
veterans?
No,
Whoa.
no, no,
Not
no.
just served.
Yeah.
Well, then that means they
KIAs.
made even greater
Yeah.
sacrifice of their communities. When I see these numbers out of Garrett County and Allegheny County,
Yeah.
Well, their
Uh,
populations were also bigger then too. Allegheny County has lost a lot of population. since,
that's right.
um,
They used to have, what, the Kelly Springfield tire plant up there
and-
years
and
ago?
A
A lot of
mining
industry.
and things, a lot of industry that is gone, especially in Allegheny County. But anyway, thank you. Commissioner.
Thank you, President.
Thank you all very,
See ya.
good luck the rest of the year. Good luck.
Plus the,
Somebody
you
lock
know,
that
the
door
Korean
and
War's
leave.
coming up now and the Vietnam War veterans, and then we also have a lot of guys from the Saudi Arabia, or from the
Desert Storm.
yeah, Desert Storm, and all those wars that have been affected. So these are all coming around, but I think it's very good we recognize
I do as well.
these guys who've sacrificed a lot for us. Okay, any public comment?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, then let's move on to agendas.
Good morning, Denise.
Good morning.
Okay, on Monday, November 11th, we have, as the county offices are closed in observance of Veterans Day, but we have people who will be attending Veterans Day assemblies. Commissioner Fraser at Winters Mill, Liberty High School, Commissioner Rothstein, Gerstel Academy, Commissioner Weaver.
Can you
Ronnie?
add, just let Gerstel know if I can make it after the one. I'm not sure how long the, I don't mean to interrupt you, Commissioner Weaver, but I don't know how long the Winters Mill one will last, but if I can make it down to Gerstel, I'll go there as well. I'll see if I can, but if I can't, I can't, but I would like to try to hit both those.
Ronnie Mead Elementary School, Commissioner Wance, American Legion Post 31 Veterans Day Observance, Commissioner Rothstein.
Oh, put me down for that one. Oh, wait,
You know, most
No.
of these,
take me off that one, I have wrestling practice. Sorry. I usually go to that one, but, because it's at the Army, but there's wrestling practice on that one. Okay.
travel
apply for a
time
while.
has to be added to these things.
Right.
It's tough to make a lot of them, because a lot of these activities go on for 2 hours or so, and there's a lot of programs that go into
Right.
it, and it's really nice. Okay, Tuesday, November 12th, Joint Board of Carroll County Commissioners and Carroll Community College breakfast meeting. Commissioner Wance, Rothstein, Weaver, Boucher, and Fraser at 9 a.m. We have the Veterans Day celebration in North Carroll Senior Center at 10:30. Commissioner Weaver, and 12 o'clock Veterans Annual Luncheon, Post 31 in Westminster, Commissioner Wance, Rothstein, and Weaver. At 2 o'clock, we have the County Board of Commissioners open work session, and this is on rezoning, comprehensive rezoning, picking up on that. At 7 p.m., we have the Ag Center Board meeting, Commissioner Boucher. We have the Manchester Town meeting, Commissioner Wance at 7:30. And Wednesday, November 13th, 9 a.m., Opioid Prevention Coalition meeting, Carroll County Health Department, Commissioner Fraser. At 9:30 a.m., Farm Museum Advisory Board meeting, Commissioner Wance. 10 o'clock, Veterans Celebration, Tonytown Senior Center, Commissioner Wance. Modern Foundations Open House, Woodbine, Commissioner Boucher. 5 o'clock, Carroll County Board of Education meeting, Commissioner Weaver. And 6 o'clock, Lineborough Volunteer Fire Department Auxiliary 75th Anniversary Celebration in Lineborough, Commissioner Wance. And I think it's 2 o'clock, the Board of Ed has a work session on budget. I believe I'll be attending. So. Okay, and then Thursday, November 14th, closed minute, we'll start at 9 o'clock, and we'll have the Carroll County, we have a couple, looks like awards to give out, recognitions. At 9 a.m., we have the Maryland Association of Counties, Michael Sanderson, Executive Director of MACO, and Barry Glassman, Hartford County Executive, will be here and current President of MACO. At 10, we have request for approval of agriculture conservation easements through MALF, Matching Funds Program. We have 11, or approximately 11, bid approval, Poolsdale Forest Bank. Request approval for annual renewal of Everbridge Mass Notification System. And later on, November 14th, we have South Carroll Senior Center 10th Anniversary Celebration, Commissioner Rothstein. Hospice Leadership Briefing, Commissioner Wance. Saturday, November 16th, Carroll County Veterans Independent Project Red, White, and Blue Gala at the Westminster Riding Club, Commissioner Wance, Rothstein, and Weaver. And Sunday, November 17th, Commissioner Reports, Commissioner Wance.
You want to get up early and buy coffee?
That makes one of us.
On Monday, November 18th, Veteran Service Center groundbreaking ceremony, Goodwill, Monocacy Valley. It's in Frederick County. Commissioner Rothstein will be attending. At noon, 12:30, Maryland Association of Counties Academy Council meeting, Commissioner Wance. Transit Advisory Council meeting, Commissioner Fraser at 3. And Tuesday, November 19th, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, Commissioner Rothstein. At 2 o'clock, Veterans Advisory Council meeting, Post 467, Westminster, Commissioner Weaver and Rothstein. And Wednesday, November 20th, BWI Partnership Breakfast, Linthicum Heights, Commissioner Rothstein. On Wednesday, November 20th, Economic Alliance of Greater Baltimore meeting, Commissioner Rothstein. At 6 p.m., Maryland FFA Showcase, Westminster High School, Commissioner Weaver. 6 p.m., Carroll Community College Board meeting, Commissioner Fraser. On Thursday, November 21st, Carroll County Board of Commissioners open session. We have bid approval, Whispering Valley Stormwater Management Facility retrofit. We have Hampstead annexation of the Beck property. Earlier that morning, we have amendments to the 2014 master plan. We have the briefing discussion, Notting Carroll funding from the Health Department. We have the Board of Health annual report, open burning program, and food service by nonprofits, Mr. Ed Singer. And later that day, possible discussion on comprehensive rezoning. And Friday, November 22nd, the Governor's Emergency Management Advisory Council meeting, Commissioner Wance. And on Sunday, November 24th, Commissioner's Report, Commissioner Weaver.
I'll sleep in on that one.
You don't get up to hear them? Oh, my. And they're streamed throughout the week, so you can catch up on them if you oversleep.
You don't have to get up early, you can
Well, you
listen to
know-
it from our website anytime you want.
Anytime. Carroll County has Sunday hunting on private land. I'll be out in the woods. Maybe I'll listen to it on my phone.
Yeah, that'd be good. Use your earbuds.
There you
You
go.
don't wanna spook the deer.
Unless they wanna hear Commissioner Weaver.
We're gonna broadcast from the woods. So-
There are closed minutes you need to adopt.
Yeah. Okay, we have administrative session here a little bit, just anything, or no, we have minutes.
Right, closed
Closed
minutes you
minutes.
need to adopt
From
from
closed
last
to-
week's.
Make a motion to adopt the minutes from 10/31/19 for the closed session.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Okay,
Other than that, for me, it's just signing things.
we don't have anything? No. Okay.
So we're done for that. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.